Hey, what's happening, everybody out there in the XRP community? Welcome back to Investment Perspectives. Sorry, I got a little bit of a cold today, but I want to give a shout out real quick to WB. He had sent me some information earlier. I think I'm going to be using some of that today. Now, I look at a lot of stuff, so just a shout out to WB anyway, man. Appreciate everything you send in. All right, so let's get into it. So the title of today's video, or the theme, is XRP is digital gold and Bakkt thinks so. I read an article, and before I get into it, we're going to go through some other things, but I read an article about Bakkt. It was from Abacus Journal, and they talk about the foreshadowing that Bakkt puts out about the future crypto products that will be coming to market. So before we get into that, I want to go back and I want to talk about like the last video. In the last video, I talked about an article about the JP Morgan civil lawsuit over rigging the precious metals market from 2009 to 2015. So whenever they get decision on this, you know that this is going to be a huge key or a keystone moment for them to craft some new kind of regulation, because obviously something needs to be put in place there to keep that from happening again sometime down the road. So I would imagine there's going to be a few changes somewhere along the line with that judgment coming down the pike there. So let's move on here now. Let's move to Bakkt and the ETFs that we're waiting for approval from the SEC. Okay, so Bakkt currently has a license through the CFTC. And the CFTC has already said publicly that Bakkt has the approval to go forward with ETFs without having to apply to do so. But they've been told to walk with caution and to make sure they stay within the regulation and guidelines of the CFTC, and they would be watching them closely. Now, that's what's already been out there, right, and said and put out there. But Bakkt still waits. They still haven't launched. And they could if they want, but they haven't done it. Now, this points to me to seem like more orchestration, more the theater that's going on where everybody's actually in concert together, right? Not only domestically, but I believe, on a global level too. Again, I point back to the video we had about G20 and the G20 Summit and the FATF and the oversight globally there, and about how we found out about so much global compliance amongst all the exchanges. And I'm also betting that it's a little deeper than just the exchanges. Okay, so let's keep moving on here. Let's go down into now the Bakkt article. Yeah, we're going to the Bakkt article and some interesting things there. So now I'm going to go to this article here, and normally I don't like to read like a whole article, but I may have to do that here. There's a lot in here that's really worth knowing. And again, this stuff is on my Twitter, and you can follow me on Twitter at Backup Bradley. It's BAKKUP Bradley, LEY, no spaces. Follow me on there and you'll see all this information here. And at times too, I do put the links in the comments below too. So, okay, so let's get into this article by Abacus Journal. Bakkt Futures Products. It says Bakkt foreshadows future products in dialogue bullish hopium, right? So, all right, so here we go. Bakkt released a tweet which they had said with the following line, which could open the door for other products around crypto. And then they go on in the article, and I'll just read some of this here, to get a bit more clear-eyed on what other products Bakkt may be talking about that will come from a more orderly price book from Bitcoin. Take a look at the gold futures market, spot markets, etc. What types of products have evolved from the physically deliverable gold markets dominated by ICE, the parent company of Bakkt and the New York Stock Exchange? So, orderly gold markets trade better than 100 billion worth of the commodity per day. The product or the products that have been born from that type of volume have been the following: Physical gold is readily available to the public for all manner of sources. Very similar to crypto right now, right? And then we get into where they talk about gold ETFs have been approved across the board and trade on several exchanges, which we know we're waiting on domestically here. Gold mutual funds have also become mainstream. That's where we're waiting on that big money also, right? Gold derivatives are traded amongst commodity exchanges. Gold futures are also traded across multiple commodity exchanges and gold options. Now, the collective trading in the above products that I just went through approaches $500 billion on a daily basis. So you have the actual physical asset trading for $100 billion daily, and then the products that they want to build on top of that asset, or that currently exists for gold, trade to the tune of $500 billion on a daily basis. So I think we're starting to understand what they see the markets looking like, what the new crypto merging market looks like. It looks like the precious metals market. Now, the article goes on to say, can anyone guess who manages the largest gold-based ETFs in the world? It's BlackRock. BlackRock Investment Group. Now, if you follow CKJ, and if you don't, I'm telling you, you better go follow him. He's got a library of videos, and I'm telling you right now, you can go right through all those videos and find every bit of this, because it's where I first got it. BlackRock Investment Group is directly tied to Glenn Hutchins. Glenn Hutchins is a founding investor in DCG Group with Barry Silbert. He's an investor in Coinbase, I believe, as well, and also an investor into Ripple. So this gets really interesting because, not only because of that, but because BlackRock as a whole is very comfortable trading the precious metals market. And they're now excited to get behind Bakkt and to get into cryptocurrencies. And I'm speculating at this moment, but I'm guessing that that's because they know exactly what this market's going to look like, and it's going to look a lot like precious metals. And they're very comfortable there because they are the world's largest gold-based ETF trader in the world, or manager, however you want to look at it. So really, really impressive when you think about that in this respect of what will cryptocurrencies look like going forward. We know what they look like now. And you know what it does look like now? It looks like a mess. We've been in a manufacturer bear market. If the Bitcoin goes down, guess what? So do 2,000 other coins. And if Bitcoin goes up, guess what? So do the other 2,000 coins. That's not a healthy market. Let's talk about something else real quick. That classification that I keep going on about. It's not just to define XRP for XRP and its use case. Yes, it needs that. There's a larger issue here too. I believe the classification for not only XRP, but all coins, how they fit, is important for decoupling. Because the truth of the matter is when you look at traditional stock market, there is a retail sector of it. There's a manufacturing sector of it. There's tech stocks and NASDAQ. There's different sectors of trading that go on for the different sectors of the economy. Now, because we're dealing with a crypto platform and cryptocurrencies, we're learning as this market is budding, we're learning that there is going to be a retail style coin. There is a store of value coin. There is a utility asset coin that would be more of a back end thing. These are different categories and classifications that can now aid to help the investor the person who's going to buy it and hold it, that plans on using it, whether you're a speculator or whether you're actually in the market providing liquidity, however it is, whatever side of the fence you're on, this clarity coming to the cryptocurrency space as well as XRP is going to be key for decoupling and getting this market healthy, because that will stop one coin controlling the entire market, because it will begin to have people start to purchase coins based on their particular use case instead of just a notion of a white paper. So that's important to think of too. I wanted to make sure I mentioned that. Okay, I know we're running out of time. I don't want to be too long here. So let's talk about something else that when people understand what futures contracts are, they understand that that is not really our friend when it comes to fast, quick growth, right? So here's the deal. There's futures contracts. If you're not aware, we did a video on it, but you can go back and watch it in my video playlist. But the futures contract has been around on XRP since 2016. Trades practically everywhere in the world except the United States. We believe that's because of a classification issue, and I still do. I also am starting to believe that also what needs to happen along with a classification for XRP is a valuation. A valuation based on something other than just the speculative market of XRP, which is what we have created as retail buyers of the coin. If you take in the 200 plus partnerships that they're touting that we don't know about, and you add in the money that's going to move through their payment flows and payment rails, I can't see, if they're going to phase this in large portions, how they won't be able to do some kind of a price adjustment to then introduce the futures contracts to the domestic United States and really begin the growth of building products on top of the underlying asset the way you do in any commodity market. How, when, I don't know, but I just don't see how they can do it without calling up the contracts that people would currently have, settling those, halt the market for a couple days, put a valuation and a classification, commodity designation, however you want to say it, on this coin, and then turning the market back loose and letting it go. I mean, I'm speculating here, but more and more, and I've actually, said it from the beginning, I believe that we are going to get treated like precious metals. So, it's obviously still up in the air, but things are starting to come to the surface that really start to say, from what they're doing and the way they're building and structuring Bakkt, it's starting to look like that kind of a market, or very similar at least. Okay, so another thing I wanted to get to real quick. The article that came out about the difference of the only two exchanges that have been trading and reporting the proper trade volume are Binance and Bitfinex. The article said all other exchanges are falsifying their trade volume. Now here's a little tidbit. So if they're lying and wash trading, they're saying that there's more there than there actually is, basically. So if we go through all these other hundreds, if not, I don't know how many, but exchanges that are falsifying their trade volume, we could see the circulation count go down, and in turn just see the price come up some, just based on that notion. There's less coins out there than there really are. So if we could just get a real number, that'd be nice, right? So I think these kinds of things we start to see are really the large oversight, coming in. Another thing real quick, I got to wrap this up, but futures contracts are controlled by the CFTC. Other products that are built on that, like options, call options, those are going to be handled by the SEC, because now you're going to have a third party in between there, and it's going to get a little sticky. So the SEC, if they go out and build these products out like this, it will be a joint effort by both parties. So things are getting exciting, guys. Hit the like and subscribe. I got to get out of here. Only like I got 15 minutes and I'm almost out of time. But thank you guys for everything you're doing. I'm glad I could make this video. It just seems like there's really good stuff coming. So leave some comments down below, and I'll catch you on the next one. Take care.